This video is for practice problems 1, 2, 3, and 4 from lesson 10-2 on fraction busters. The directions read, solve for x by using fraction busters to rewrite without fractions. Let's start with number 1. Okay, so we have negative 5/8 is equal to negative 1/2 plus 3/4 x. Remember, our first step is to check out our denominators, right? And we need to find the least common multiple, or a number that all three of our denominators will go into, right? So when we have three different ones here, I like to look at the biggest one and say, hey, do my other two go into this? So for instance, 8 we already know goes into 8, but then does 2 go into 8? It does, and 4 goes into 8. So that means that our least common multiple is going to be 8. We'll multiply both sides of our equation times 8. And remember, we're going to multiply just times the numerators. So 8 times 5 is 40. So we have a negative 40 over 8 is equal to, we'll do 8 times 1, which would give us a negative 8 over 2, plus 8 times 3 is 24 over 4, and then we have our x on the end. And now we'll just simplify each of those, right? Negative 40 divided by 8 is negative 5. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And then 24 divided by 4 is 6. And then we've got our x. So this equation looks much easier to solve than the original. Let's go ahead and get our x's alone on one side. So we've got negative 1 is equal to 6x. And then we'll just divide each side by 6. And we get negative 1/6 is equal to x. That is the correct answer. Now, usually we check it if we were on our own. For the sake of trying to keep this video as short as possible, okay, I'm going to tell you that this is the correct answer. All right, let's go on to number 2. On number 2, we have 3x divided by 4 plus x over 3 minus 1/2 is equal to 0. So again, first thing we want to look at is our denominators. And you see on this one, it's a little different because when I look at 4, right, 4 is divisible by 2, but 4 is not divisible by 3. So 4 can't be our least common multiple. We need a number that 4 goes into, 3 goes into, and 2 goes into. Right, so if you count by 4s, count by 3s, and count by 2s, what's the first number that you come to that each of them goes into? If you said 12, that would be the correct answer. So let's multiply both sides of the equation times 12. So 12 times 3x is 36x, we're still over 4, plus 12 times x is 12x, still over 3, and then minus 12 times 1 is 12, still over 2, and that equals 12 times 0, which is 0. Let's simplify each of those terms. 36 divided by 4 should be a 9x. 12x divided by 3 would be a 4x. And then 12 divided by 2 would be negative 6. Go ahead and combine your like terms. You've got 13x minus 6 is equal to 0. We'll add our 6 to each side. So we have 13x is equal to positive 6. And then divide by 13. So we get x is equal to 6/13. Again, we can take that, plug it back into the original equation, and it should make a true statement. Let's look at number 3 now. We have 5/2 x minus 1/3 is equal to 13. Remember, this 13 is like it's over 1. So our least common multiple has to be something that is divisible by 2, 3, and 1. So what number do they all go into? That should be a 6. Now, if you said something like 12, that would also work. But we like to use the least common multiple just because that will make it a little bit easier. All right, so let's go ahead here. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and multiply both sides times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So we have 30 over 2x minus 6 times 1 is 6 over 3 equals 6 times 13 is 78. That's still over 1. And when we simplify these, this should give us 15x minus 2 is equal to 78. Go ahead and add your 2 to each side. So we have 15x is equal to 80. And then we'll just divide each side by 15. So we're going to end up with x is equal to, now 80/15ths should reduce to, let me write that out there first. Right, that should reduce to 16/3, right? Because they're both divisible by 5, so it'd be 16/3. Or you could write, what is it, 5 1/3. Any of those answers is acceptable. All right, the last one, number 4. For number 4, we have 3/10 plus 2/5 x equals 1/2. Looking at our denominators, 10, 5, and 2, well, 10 is divisible by 5 and 2, so we know here that 10 is our least common denominator. I'm sorry, least common multiple. So it's going to be 10. So let's multiply both sides times 10. See what we get. 10 times 3 is 30, so we have 30 over 10, plus 10 times 2 is 20, so we have 20 over 5x. 10 times 1 is 10, and that's over 2. Simplify those. We've got 3 plus 4x is equal to 5. That looks way easier to work with. Let's just go ahead and solve for x by isolating it. We've got 4x is equal to 2. We divide by 4. We're going to get x is equal to 2/4, which is 1/2. If you have any additional questions on any of these 4 problems, please make sure you ask. You can go to Math Help. You can ask me. You can send me a message. You can ask another teacher. Important thing is that you're getting help when you need it. Thanks for watching.